Going to the track tomorrow, and we're going to run through the few things that you need to do to head to the track and be prepared. I'm taking my FRS to a drift event tomorrow, so here's everything that I do before an event. First things first, we're going to pop the hood. The number one most important thing that you need to do before a track day is check your oil. This can cause some damages that you will not want to be paying for. And it looks like oil levels are good. This does have pretty fresh oil in it. So another little tip that you guys can do is if you haven't changed your oil in a while, you definitely need to change it before your next track day. Otherwise, you will really regret it. But I just changed my oil, so I'm gonna change it after the track day. Another little tip I like to tell people is they can run a little bit thicker oil, especially if it's gonna be hot outside. Your car's gonna be running hotter, so the oil will thin out a little bit, so run a little bit thicker of an oil. Personally, I'm running 5W40, full synthetic. I believe I put Motul in here, and then after the event, I'll put this same exact oil in. Another easy and quick tip is check your battery tie downs, make sure they're nice and tight, because when you're on track, your battery is moving around a lot and you don't want that to get loose. It'll shut your car off. And once we're looking at the battery, we'll just do a quick nut and bolt check in the engine bay, make sure there's no leaks, there's no coolant anywhere, no oil. Even check your catch can if you have one, but just things like that. Last but not least, when you are in your engine bay, go ahead and check that coolant, make sure you're nice and topped off because you don't want the car to overheat. Now that everything is done under the hood, let's go ahead and raise the car up and do a quick nut and bolt check underneath. All right, now that we're under the car, I'm gonna look at all of my suspension stuff because I do have a lot of aftermarket suspension. This is an extremely important step if you do have a bunch of aftermarket suspension components, because unlike factory components, a lot of aftermarket stuff tends to get loose if you do not do Loctite and have proper torque specs. There's a lot of OEM stuff that you haven't taken on and off a bunch of times. They generally stay pretty safe, but it is always a good idea to check all your nuts and bolts. So as you can see here, I do have the GK Tech angle kit. This is not like an insane angle kit, but it does do quite a bit. But it is a smart idea to go ahead and check all this stuff, because if this were to break, I lose all steering and my wheel will just go inward or outward and I'll wreck the car. So we're gonna go ahead and do a little one take of this and move on to the back. Once you tighten down everything, grab yourself a paint marker or a Sharpie, just go ahead and mark where the bolt matches right there. That way, when you go and jack your car up and check once again, if that's moved at all, make sure you tighten that back down. While you're under here, make sure you're looking for any sort of like broken components. So any cracks, any rubbing, anything that could be possibly wrong with the car, make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. Use a light, take your time, and be very sensitive to what you're looking at. I don't want you guys to miss something and then all of a sudden you have a catastrophic failure on the track and you're totaling your car. I'm going to be drifting the car, so I'm going to be looking for rubbing, any changes that I need to do before the drift event. Obviously doing it a day out, doing suspension changes is kind of a pain because sometimes you do need to get it realigned and things like that, but I'm just gonna do a once over real quick and make sure everything's good. Another note, while you're under the car, look for any oil drips, any leaks, anything on the bottom of the motor that could cause another engine failure or an engine fire. We do not want that to happen. Once you have the front of the car done, go ahead and move to the back where we check the rear suspension. I went ahead and looked at all these, marked them, everything is good. So we're gonna move on to what do our tires look like. And to me, it's looking like we do not have much tread left, but since we're drifting, we wanna save money as much as we can. We're gonna go ahead and just run these tires until they're literally bald. I do have another set of spares, but there is a tire changing machine at the track. So I'm just gonna bring the spare tires with me and we can do a hot swap at the track. Now that the entire car has been looked over, let's talk about all the equipment that you need to bring to the track, starting with a jack. This is a nice jack point we have right here. Jacks are extremely important to take to the track. Make sure your jack is fully functional and not leaking or doing anything stupid like that. But yeah, let's go look over the equipment that we need. Through some of the items that you guys need. Starting to my left, we have your jack. Make sure you bring a jack. I don't care if you gotta borrow one from a friend or whatever, bring a jack. Next up, drift event, we're gonna bring tires. If you're at like a road course or just any normal track day, I would still suggest bringing tires because you will blow through them very quickly. Then, safety devices. My car has a half cage, it has a harness, and it has an aftermarket steering wheel. So I do need to wear a helmet. Most tracks do require a helmet, but if your car is full of safety features, it depends on the track, depends on the rules and regulations. I recommend a helmet. And then, rotary premix. I'm just kidding. This is more oil in case the car does end up burning oil, which we do check the oil pretty frequently at track days. And you're gonna want a fire extinguisher. You're gonna wanna make sure that it's full and it is in working condition and is up to date on all the specs, because engine fires or car catches on fire, you don't wanna total your car. Lastly, this is not required, but racing gloves. This is actually gonna be my first time driving with gloves, so we're gonna see how we do, but it might help me a lot, but it is an option for anybody who's trying to race. It is gonna be hot tomorrow, and I have a leather steering wheel, so I think the gloves will help a lot with the sweat, because I'm going to be sweating. It's gonna be 100 degrees, and I think this is gonna help. Lastly, you guys are gonna wanna bring some tools, so I'm gonna be bringing a 1/2-inch impact, and as well as the sockets that I know that I'll need. I also recommend bringing some sort of torque wrench or something so you know that your wheels are nice and torqued down, or you can borrow one from a friend that's at a track day, but definitely bring some sort of power tool or a breaker bar or something to get big bolts off, and then something to get small bolts off. Just bring whatever you need. You don't need to bring your entire toolbox. That is unnecessary. Bring a couple adjustable wrenches, some power tools, or if you don't have power tools, just bring some normal wrenches or ratchets. Another thing that I don't have on me, but I do recommend bringing, is some sort of tire pressure, either something to pump it up with or something to just check it with. That way you know what you're running. For drifting, a lot of guys like to run, depending on the track, how sticky it is and how much power their car makes, but personally I just run stock specs, 32 PSI in the rear. That way I have enough grip and enough give to get me around the track, but if the tires are gripping up pretty heavily, then I'm gonna go ahead and bump the air up. If it's not gripping up enough, then I'm gonna bump the air down. And same goes for track day guys. So anybody that's running the track, I do recommend bringing something to check your tire pressure. You guys are gonna wanna bring some snacks. I'm a big back, I like to eat, and there's nowhere in the track that has food or water. So bring snacks, bring lots to drink, and bring some toilet paper, because sometimes you never know when you're at the track and they don't even have bathrooms. So bring all that stuff because you might need it. Now that we've talked about everything that you need to bring to the track, let's go ahead and get everything loaded up.
And now you can just get B-roll, man.
We just got everything loaded up. We're gonna go give the car a bath now, so that way when we put it on the trailer, it can look nice and pretty when we pull up to the drift event. We just finished giving the car a spa day, but that is pretty much all you guys need to see as far as what you need to do for track day prep. We aren't gonna show the track day in this video, but in episode 2, which will be coming out very soon, we'll be showing going to the actual drift event, doing the drifting, and seeing if we can't make this car do something fun around the track. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.